All right, guys. So I'm actually recording this trade in a bit of drawdown. So later on, you guys can come back and see if anything I'm talking about is BS or real. But essentially today I want to cover the topic of trading is conceptual. So what do I mean by that? To me, we have all of these concepts that we all learn to trade, right? So we have support and resistance, ICT, smart money concepts. I mean, name it, the list goes on, right? So all of these things to me are concepts. So it means, yes, they do work, but do they really? And what I mean by that is, if you think about it, if something is conceptual, then it's not complete. It is like an idea. It's something that, it needs more engineering in order to be finished, in order to be completed. So when it comes to trading, I look at all these concepts as something that's not complete. Now, I used to trade these concepts, and it made me about 10 to 20K a month, which was cool. But then when I learned fundamental analysis, I was actually able to create what us traders need, which is an edge. So an edge is that kind of thing that really allows you to get ahead in the market. So the very first thing that I want you guys to think about is when it comes to actual like hedge funds and things like that, when they come to hire people to trade their capital, they're not looking at this ICT guy. They're not looking at somebody like Lambo Raul to come trade their capital. They're looking at macroeconomical analysts, right? People who actually study things from a macroeconomical picture. So I was actually talking and lucky enough to be mentored by this guy, Bob Elliott, who taught me a lot about the markets. And Bob Elliott was in charge of $240 billion in capital. Now, when he steps on the chart, he's not out there looking for head and shoulders. He's really not even trading this type of stuff. It's completely different ballgame for him, right? And all these people trading these big funds, they're not like, oh, yo, we have a head and shoulders or a triple top or an order block right there. Like, let's put billions into the market. No, they're looking at the bigger picture, what's actually going on in these economies. So here everyone can see I have Euro JPY and I'm in some shorts. So obviously I have, my technical analysis, but now I'm coupling it with my fundamental analysis to create my edge to give me the real bias behind this trade. So I want everyone to see this right here. If I open my chart, obviously my first target, as you guys can see here, is once we broke above this, I'm already bearish. So I'm anticipating this is a fake out, and I can see how perfectly it respects that high. So then I get in kind of on this wick over here, and I can see my first target is going to be just the touch of this trend line if we can respect that level. And if we do, well, then I'm looking for liquidity areas to target, if we can break through that level to come potentially break this and eventually even sweep all the way lower. Now, I didn't just, take this trade because of the technical aspect. I took it because of the fundamental biases that I had behind this. So first of all, if you guys look at forexfactory.com, you're going to see that we have German IFO business climate. So you guys can see over here, we had the actual come out at 85.7, while the forecast was 86.1, showing me that the economy is shrinking. If the economy is shrinking, then I'm already believing that this currency is going to move bearish, because it shows me that, we're moving into a deflationary state, and inflation in the European, for the European central banks was very high. So then here I want to point out as well, we have our, one of the ECB members had simply said monetary policy should not remain restrictive too long. So when it's restrictive is like when they're not looking to cut rates or anything. So if it should not remain restrictive for too long, well, then I'm already looking, okay, that's a bearish sentiment towards this trade. Now, next thing I want to point out is if you guys haven't already seen my video on what's going on with the Japanese yen, you guys should watch it. I'll leave the link to that in the description. But essentially, the Japanese yen is extremely deflated. So when I was looking at this over here, and I'm just simply looking at the Japan at the Japan government bonds yield curve, I can see that over the years, the latest has an increase versus the previous, which was 1 month ago, right? So 1 month ago, 4 years was at 0.517%. Now it's at 682%, or 0.682. Fast forward 20 years, the latest is 1.878. 1 month ago is 1.788. So you keep doing this all the way, and you're going to see it's just simply increasing. Fast forward to 40 years, 2.536 versus the month before it was 2.421%. So if I'm seeing an increase in the government bonds, well, then what I'm already anticipating is that there's going to be higher interest rates, that there's going to be more money, right? And the way we get the more money is by putting more interest rates in there. So this to me is going to be bullish for the Japanese yen, bearish news for Euro JPY. So when I'm actually hopping in Euro JPY, I'm using that as my confluence. So now at this point, I'm able to identify, right? A lot of people would have seen this over here and been like, oh, hey, you know what? We broke this. Now we're going to have a breakout, buy towards the upside. But I'm looking at the opposite. I'm looking fundamentally, how are we positioned so I can identify the fake outs and get in on the right side of the market. Now, the thing is, a lot of people believe that they need to win 100% of the time and all this stuff, but I even want to highlight the fact that this man, Bob Elliott, right, one of the greatest in the world, is out here telling me that on a good month, his win rate is 55%. Now, that's where our edge has to come in. That edge that we create from our technicals and our fundamental analysis, right, now it's combined, has to help us when we are right those 50, 60% of the times, and we're not going to win all of the time. But if you're actually able to trade this way, this is where I'm able to see, that shift of being able to make 10 to 20K a month to being able to do insane results like flipping 3K to 150K. So like that whole idea of trading the real side of things is what allowed me to even open pip and dip, right? So I saw the demand for fundamental analysis and trading, like the lack of it that there was, and I saw how it literally changed my life. So I decided, hey, you know what? This is something I've been getting really good at. I've generated over $1 million of profits this year. Let's get into this. And then it freaking completely transformed everything. I mean, I've seen so much of my trading change. Like, I can't stress enough. It's not that I've done it once, right? I did 5K to 131K the first time on YouTube live stream on my channel. And then I did the whole 3K to 150K like 4 more times on my channel. And then I do flips all the time where I'll post them on my Instagram stories and stuff. 2K to 20K, 5K to 67K. And the numbers go on. And that's simply because I have that fundamental analysis. So for those of you who like want to understand this more or whatever, I'm going to leave the link in the description on how you can work alongside my team and I to guarantee profitability, where you'll learn this fundamental analysis in 75 days or less. And I hope you guys, I wish you guys the best in your trading journey. Come back after this video is posted, because I'm going to post this as soon as possible, and check if anything that I said was true or if it wasn't. Now, obviously, the lengths of the drop are determined on how the fundamentals set up. So let's say that this isn't moving the right way, I'm not getting enough volume, and then there's going to be a news event later on that comes out against it, then I probably wouldn't be holding this all the way down here. But as long as I keep getting the same fundamentals pushing in my favor, then I'm going to continue to play this as long as I possibly could. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Let me know if you guys want more videos based around trading as conceptual and, the proof behind it. And I'll see y'all then.